Farcaster. We were just chatting away ourselves, and I'm like, oh, to go live. It is Wednesday, December 6th, and you are here with Adrian and Nanish Prof for 21 minutes of Farcaster News to start your day. How are you doing today, Adrian? We're
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you? I was traveling the last 2 days. I got home late last night, so a little
tired.
sleepy this morning. But I've got my coffee, which you can't see in the video probably because of AI. But if you'll notice,
Woo!
I'm drinking from a GM Farcaster mug. Look out for our
Oh,
merch
me, I
store
am as
coming
well.
soon.
So soon available soon. Um, that's amazing. And we're kind of sporting some birds today. So I've got a little background about Lil Basil, which I'll talk about in a sec. And you've got a fun one that let's start with that. So this is a fun little thing, and we'll move over to the nature channel, which I don't think we've ever looked at the nature channel before. I mean, pulled it up for the show. So the 2023, the pictures of the year from National Geographic, and Maurice uh, posted this one, and then Jack, made a little meme about it. When everyone is replying with low effort, this is how you feel. So Adrian's like, no low effort replies. No low effort replies here. And then I'm sporting my Lil Basil graphic here by Nounish artist Meshup. So for those who are in the Nouns community, you'll be familiar with Meshup, incredible artist. And he did this graphic for Lil Basil, which is going to be tomorrow with Lil Nouns. Nouns Builder, Purple. There'll be folks from Purple there, so I'm excited about that. Jesse Pollock's going to be there doing a little lightning talk. Kind of took that inspiration from Farcon. Ivy's going to join. Ivy, our past guest host, is going to be there. I'm really excited. So lots of fun things happening. So Lil Nouns, Builder DAO, Cryptodes, and Pizza DAO. So that's what is represented there in Prop House. So really excited. Can't wait to see everybody. I'm really excited. Like it's always so fun to get to see my internet friends IRL, and there's a lot that I'm going to meet for the first time. Just super fun. So this is what
That's
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to.
And Art Basel is not a crypto conference, so it's so cool to see the overlap of artists. And you guys are going to have a blast, and we will be jealous and
Will
having
be
a little FOMO.
jealous. It's funny because it's not crypto, but it's been so for like 3 years. This is probably the third year that the NFT part side of crypto has sort of taken over Basel, and it's going to be a blast. I'm really looking forward to it. Lots of fun things happening, and I'm hoping, including Boys Club. We were just talking about Boys Club. They're having an event. I'm hoping to get in. I don't think I've been approved yet. So hey, if you're listening, could you
Boys Club,
could you
I
just
know
check me off on that
you're
list?
on
That'd be great.
Farcaster. You're on Farcaster. Where you at? Get our prof, get our girl in.
Can you get me in
VIP,
there?
please.
Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, moving on. Varun. Weekly warp rewards are out for top casters, inviters, and hub runners. A small tweak to the invite algo this week. 1 point for inactive users. 10 or 50 points for active users based on their tier. User tiers based on engagement per post balanced against mutes, hides, and reports with some manual review. So some people did see a little decrease in their invites, including Johnny Mac Nonlinear. Thanks for that. Your invite rank this week moved down to 108. Let's be a little meme out of that one. And my invite rank did go down as well. I think I was like 40 the first week they did that. And now I'm at like 97. What happened? So that's what happened. So there you go. Now you know.
I have an embarrassingly low invite rank.
It's well, I haven't invited in a while, but the thing is they're giving you points based on the activity of those who you invited. So even if you invited just a few people, but they were bangers, they're putting out bangers, then you're doing pretty well. So it's that, which is kind of interesting, right? It kind of an interesting thing. But right now it's like I'm trying to figure out why would we invite more. So I'm looking for that incentive to do invites versus just let them, move to permissionless. So
But now you have
Thoughts on
it.
that?
You have well,
Now
but now you
I
have
have an
incentive.
incentive.
Invite
Yeah,
people, get them active, get warps, and mint
there you
from
go.
your feed.
And then mint from your feet. I also wanted to show off my this is my my koozie for the event as well. So there we go. Um,
Nice.
yeah, all the fun things. Got all the swag going. Um, yeah, so yeah, inviting. I'm gonna maybe do some inviting over Lil Basil. We'll get everybody on Warpcast. Moving on, Varun had AMA the other day, kind of an unplanned last minute, and one of the questions was any plan to vampire attack X. And Varun's answer was vampire attacks draw mercenaries. For a financial protocol, it's fine. I don't care who the person is as long as their money is good. For a social protocol, it could actually make the social network significantly worse. There might be a more subtle way to do this, but I haven't figured it out yet. So we were talking about, what is a vampire attack? And a vampire attack, at least in crypto, is when you're essentially trying to drain the users from one platform and move them over to another. So in I think for me, like in my mind, the easiest way for me to think about this is Blur and OpenSea was a great example of this. So Blur created this tokenized incentive that all your bids, all your activity was going to get this Blur token rewards in an airdrop. And that was enough incentive to really pull a tremendous amount away from OpenSea. And that it really changed the whole landscape of, in my mind, in my opinion, the whole landscape of the NFT space. So that would be a really great example of vampire attack. I don't think it would be a good thing for Farcaster. Do you have any thoughts on that? I don't think it makes sense, but what do you think?
Um, yeah, I also agree. I wasn't even that familiar with the term vampire attack, so I had to do a little research first to see what he was even talking about. In my professional DevOps world, where we do a lot of reading, writing, talking about the effect of culture on high performing tech organizations, there's a consistent theme of missionaries over mercenaries,
Mm,
of when you're building kind of social
interesting.
structures, trying to find people who are motivated, intrinsically motivated for a cause, or as opposed to for money, the
Yeah,
mercenaries. And so I think he's hitting on that, and I agree. I mean, who's here for Farcaster? And it's not
right.
because we're waiting for the tokens.
Right. And we know, and that was sort of the fear when it went permissionless, is that we were going to see a lot of that low effort, right? Low effort replies, low effort casting for airdrop farming, like for people thinking there's an airdrop coming. And we're like, no, there's no airdrop coming. And then, oh, but except for these warps, it's like, oh, wait a minute. But it's not the same thing. But it's also, that now you've got people who are doing a little bit of that. But I think that, yeah, a full on vampire attack, I think would be really tough. It's just not the right, it's not the right move. It's not going to build the quality that you're looking for either. And I feel like that's really the key. It also makes me think back to what social media versus social network and the difference there. And that's a big difference for sure. Social network is that connecting aspect where media is just that broadcast. It's just, I just want to tell you stuff and I want you to then buy my stuff. That's
Yeah,
what to me, like the, media kind of thing is, content kind of thing is. But with social network, that's not necessarily the aim, right? We're
yeah.
connecting for different reasons, and it relates really to our passions and what we're
And the
passionate about and what we're
emphasis,
working on.
yeah,
Yeah,
the social network for social media, I think, has come up a few times. I've heard Dan mention it. So I think you're right. It's like the emphasis becomes on the people and the connections and what you can do with it, as opposed to the emphasis kind of where the content is first and then the people connecting is second. Because even on social media, even though it is broadcast, no, there's still a graph and there's still connections, but it almost seems like which one is primary. And
great point. Yeah, that's a
people,
great point.
it's kind of being like the really the connections and the people should be primary over the media.
Absolutely.
Um,
And Monkey Links had a great point here in our chat. Invites equal missionaries, vampire attacks equal mercenaries, and I think that's perfect way to put it.
yeah,
Because and to me, there's another way. It's like, attraction rather than promotion. Like you
Mhm.
make a space that's so interesting and so like what's going on over there? I got to go, what's happening? That's to me a much better long-lasting sustainable approach. It's just harder to do and it's much slower. So,
Yeah.
the vampire attack is much quicker, but it also is probably not as sustainable long term and it's also not going to be the same level of quality. So, anyway,
Well said.
there we go. And yeah, so and oh, gatekeeping. Yeah, Doofy was talking about invites as gatekeeping, but I think we've moved past that now. It's more about bringing in your connected audience and finding the right folks who are going to vibe with the space rather than trying to keep anyone out. It's more like trying to bring in who we'd like to see, adding to the scenius, if you will. Moving on, Dan with a post about all of the activity on Farcaster's social graph is 100% permissionless and increasingly useful for use cases like Sybil resistance and reputation. Many bi-directional social interactions between people over a long period of time is hard to fake. Today, there are 4.2 million likes, 2 million casts, and 2.5 million follows and growing. And if you layer in connected Ethereum addresses, Farcaster provides a mapping of social activity as well as on-chain activity. So we were, this relates to what we were just talking about quite a bit. So what were your thoughts on this? I know you had some
Well,
when you saw this.
fun fact, half of those likes are from Will
You?
Robinson, Danger Will Robinson, and Bora Dutch, and my manual likes.
Your manual likes. I thought you were going to say you. Half the likes are from me.
Well, I'm known,
And
right?
half the replies are from Doofy.
Yes. And they're
Love you,
Duplicate
Doofy.
replies to
Just
fake
JK.
typos.
JK, my favorite reply guy.
Well, I did say I want to be whorish with my likes when everybody else is
Yep.
trying to save space. Not,
Yep.
I wanna like all your casts. Okay, loved this cast. I I love when I get the kind of you can step back and just broadly see what are the stats across the network,
Mm,
and um, because we're so small, it's like what is it, 5,000? Is it
yeah.
4 or 5,000
Yeah.
daily active users or whatnot? Um, so yeah, we're starting to get scale. I had to Google. I'm gonna admit this. I had to Google Sybil resistance and Sybil attack because I've heard it, but I didn't immediately know what he meant by it. And if you're listening and you don't know and you don't want to Google and seem as dumb as me, I will tell you it's about there are kind of attacks on social networks with the ability for people to create massive amounts of pseudonymous or anonymous accounts. And when you can't trust who you're talking to and you can't trust kind of the profile, it degrades the trust of the entire platform. So I think what he's saying is now we have these like really long running like data that goes back far. So if you have someone like an at Adrian and an at Nownish Prof, and we've had, literally thousands of connections
Hmm.
and conversations, what are the chances that we are completely fake
Yeah.
and doing, yeah, causing malicious
We are
harm? It's like
real.
this is on-chain reputation, and this is the promise of,
We
I
are
think,
real
kind
or
of,
we're
yeah.
really, really, really good AI. I don't know which. We're either real
Yeah.
or, yeah,
By
just
the way, if I was
like next
AIing
level.
myself, I would be way more articulate, more eloquent, and
Definitely prettier, a little bit younger. There are things we would
definitely
do.
younger. We'd airbrush some
Definitely
of these wrinkles
younger.
out of my eyes. Yeah,
I want to look younger. I don't want to be younger. Let's be clear about that. Um, I'm perfectly fine. But great points, and this kind of
exactly.
leads into Ted's post, Ted's cast. I made a kind of dumb cast a month or so ago that I didn't respect anon accounts that have nothing to lose, so they attack people. I should have been more nuanced. I think pseudonymous accounts like Rune, Daniel, formerly Beth Jesus, are essential to growing a social platform and Farcaster needs them. Are any here? And I thought that was interesting. And a couple of people, Varun tagged Hyperbad in July as some of the anons. And I think Farcaster admins, another one. Not, nah, he's not. But accountless, I guess, would be another one, another good one to think of. But I was thinking about this. You think about like we were talking about Sybil resistance, and you worry about those sort of attacks by anons. But then there's also this whole pseudonymous. layer that's so strong in crypto. It's strong in gaming. It's sort of, the world of Reddit, which all, really kind of, is so interlaced into the tech space. So, for me, I don't need to know your real name, identity, your family. I don't need to know any of that. If I can see your on-chain activity and your online activity, I can judge a lot of who you are as a person from that. For now, we'll see. Yeah, I might get to a point where maybe I can't, but for now, I'm pretty good at spotting the AIs. But you can start to for me, like pseudonymous is is different than anonymous. So I don't mind somebody I only know by an ENS. I don't like it if I only know their wallet. That's a little
Yeah.
different for me. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, same. And look, it's like it takes longer to build the reputation
Hmm.
um, when you're
Yeah,
starting from scratch. But yeah, there's plenty of people I'm interacting with who I don't know one thing about them,
yeah, yeah,
and yet I do. But and yet there's
yeah.
trust, and I would transact, and I would do business with, and I would have conversations
Hmm.
with, and I think are friends. Um, and I think there's valid reasons for anonymity
I think
in
there
the
is
world.
too. I think sometimes there is, and I think it really depends on circumstances and why, and all of that. And I think there's a lot of it's in the culture of crypto, right? There's this, and I think it, for many reasons, some of them not all positive, but it is part of it, and it's something you have to navigate. And I think what it does is make your critical thinking skills a little bit sharper, or they need to be anyway. And it's something that
Mhm.
I, definitely talk about in class. Is like you have to do you DYOR. You got to do your own research, and you got to know that if you're trusting somebody, that you only know as a number. It's like punk this, that, the other thing. It's like you're taking a risk, but you have to
Yeah.
gather the information and make the best judgment you can as to what
What I
they're
don't
doing.
like, yeah, I think what I don't like are people who are coming as either anons or pseudo anon and feeling entitled to the same
Hmm.
level of trust and respect before they've earned it.
Good point.
So,
Hmm.
um, yes, we can trust you, pseudo anon, but it doesn't mean we trust all pseudo anons the same way. It's you
Yeah,
still have to earn your trust, just like if you're fully doxxed.
yeah, absolutely. I think it gets a little easier with somebody who's doxxed, but it's not an absolute either. Like and it always I always think about this when I was, and I still haven't finished the book, but Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. It Everything he's talking about really it makes me think about Web3 a lot, and it's all about like building that trust, or people who deceive and the ones who are really good at it and all those kinds of things. And it's really it's a fascinating thing, and he talks about a lot of different studies and around it, and it's really really interesting. So I always think about that when I think about Web3. Okay, of course, it's 8:49. Here we roll. Farcaster micro app idea, friend timeline, showcase first interaction, reply, most engaged exchange, total quantity of interactions, could loop in friend circle, image, your closest friends, etc. So I think we've seen some attempts at this, like this circles that we saw Pixel do, and KBC with her social graph, but not really in an app kind of form, or to that level. But what do you think about that idea? And it kind of, again, we're kind of threading this all all the way through. It's kind of
Yeah, and
all related.
I think even Ted started talking about kind of early days of Facebook. I think that was one of the inspirations for that, of like what they would show you. Um, I'm all for playful ways to visualize social and online graphs. So
I am too. I think I love the
someone make it.
artistic way about it. I just saw Monkey D Links. Good point, Adrian. Lots of people think permissionless should be able to do everything, right? So that, your anons you don't get the same level of trust. It does have to build over time. So yeah, I love seeing, and I love the idea of like that kind of how to, finding, being able to look back at my friend interactions with different people. Moving on, Dan would love people's input on which prototype has the best design. We'll do first, second, third prize. Please like the entry. you find most compelling. I'm going to reply with at least 3 to this cast, first, second, and third. So if you have not already, go take a look at this. I don't know if he's already chosen a winner or if we're still working on it. But this was, I believe, part of a bounty as well. So, oh, looks like he may have already done that. I don't know. But if you haven't had a chance, go take a look at these entries and see what you think is the best. And generally speaking, we haven't touched on this too much, but Bounty Caster has been a really amazing addition to the ecosystem that I've been really enjoying watching. I haven't participated in a bounty on either side, but I've been thinking about it for GM Farcaster. So we may do something soon. So we'll see.
What's on your mind? What are you going to use?
I was thinking, well, you and I had talked about this a little bit about, maybe an update to our logo. We kind of, it was sort of like it was the MVP logo. So maybe that's something we could use Bounty Caster for. Um, and or we would use, or I was thinking originally I was thinking Prop House, but when this came up, I'm like, oh, this is more native to Farcaster. This would make a lot of sense to give this a try. So maybe soon, maybe soon. And of course, we're at the end of our time. We're already over by a minute. Anything else that I missed? I think we got most of our things. Anything else, Adrian, before we call it for the day?
Um, just as you bring up Dan's, like we're trying to do 21 minutes of Farcaster news. So in case you miss anything, and I'm cracking up that announcements today are already stale. They've already,
I know.
he's already announced a winner. So um, I don't know what that says. Things move very fast
Very
around
fast.
here.
Very fast. And that was from yesterday, I think. I don't even think that was like one of the ones we pulled from like a couple days ago. Things move very fast. You got to stay on it. And we will be back on Friday for more GM Farcaster. And I'll have a little report from Basil, from our Basil, of all the fun things that have happened. So we will see you then. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye. Have